Welcome, everybody, to the Yo Kids Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Gargano. This is the podcast that surrounds everything youth sports. So I've covered pro and college sports, the highest level, and I have fallen in love with youth sports. I'm a big believer in sports for children. I just think it's such a great outlet and keeps them out of trouble, they learn so many great life lessons. So as we go forward with the podcast, we're going to be talking to a lot of different people in the world of youth sports. We'll talk to some professional athletes who have children of themselves. We'll talk about the journey of the athlete. We'll highlight some of the terrific youth sports athletes across the Delaware Valley and beyond. But really, we really wanted to try to give some advice to the parents. Listen, if you got a good story, good idea, please, like I said, hit me up and we'll get to Yo Kids Sports Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Yo Kids Sports Podcast. I love this right now. I have, you want to talk about kid athlete royalty? I got three of the best young hockey players out there right now. And they all happen to be from Philadelphia area, which I'm so proud of them. I got to introduce you guys. At your far left is my man Josh Player, who's a New Hampshire commit. He's playing in Green Bay right now for the Ramblers. To my right is my man Andrew Centrella. Andrew plays at Providence, and he's 19. Stud, also Youngstown. And of course, to my bottom left, all these guys are like family to me. And of course, that would be Vinny Borgesi. Vinny plays at Northeastern. He's 19. And of course, he's repped, Team USA a couple of times. These kids are studs. And I thought you guys would be perfect to give advice to young athletes and talk about your journey. Vinny, I'm going to start with you. You and I, very close. Full disclosure, your parents are dear friends of mine. I followed you and Andrew's journey, for a long time. I followed Josh's journey through my dear friend Michelle, and it's been an awesome time. Did you ever think that you would be here? Is this a calling for you, Vin?
I never really thought about it. Obviously we started super young. Me and Ange, probably the age of 3. We started on figure skating in Voorhees. So, me and him have been through it since, 3 years old. We've, started together. And obviously, when it came to like 13, 14 years old and, we were still in the same team and dads were driving us to practice 3-4 times a week. And it started to get competitive and stuff. Like, that's kind of when we thought like, hey, like maybe, we do have a chance to play Division I college hockey. And then, that year ended and, a lot of stuff fell into place for both of us. And like you said, our parents couldn't be happier for us. But coming up, I just, it's something you don't really think about. You know what I mean? Like, when dad and, drive me to practice, taking me to lessons and stuff as such a young kid. And, sometimes, like I said, it just fell into place for me. I think, obviously it took a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, obviously thanks to my dad and my mom. But I think growing up, you don't really think about that stuff. You just try to have fun, enjoy every second of it. And then, once you become a teenager and stuff, that's when it starts to get serious. And then, maybe you do have the opportunity to like take a step further and stuff. So, that's all like I really have for that. I think, just at such a young age, my answer is no. I didn't really think I'd make it this far, but obviously I'm here today and I'm proud of everything that I did myself and stuff. So
it's so cool. Think about it. You wore the USA jersey. Your uncle, who's never been on an airplane other than a couple of private jets, never been out of the country, goes to see you in the Junior Olympics. It was unbelievable experience for you to represent Team USA. It was 19U, right?
So that was in 2019. I was U15. I was 15 years old. That's obviously something that I was fortunate enough to get picked for and go overseas and play for the country and stuff. But that was a great experience. I think it's stems from hard work and stuff. Having that opportunity to play for your country is obviously a really good feeling and stuff. But yeah, it was a great experience for me, my family, my uncle. He's a diehard fan. He loves everything that I do. So for him to come out there for me is definitely something that I'll remember for a long time. Obviously, like you said, he's never really been on an airplane or anything. He doesn't really travel much, but for him to have that opportunity and see me play on a stage that's pretty big, I think, it's definitely something that'll sit with him and me for a long time. So,
And don't forget, our Yo Kids Sports podcast is presented by Primo Hoagies. Listen, know what I've always said for years and years and years. It's not just a hoagie, it's a Primo. And this fall, whether you're tailgating, football, soccer, it's youth, you name it, make sure you got your Primo Hoagie party tray. Nothing like it for the big game. And speaking of football and the big game, this fall we're giving away a trip to Vegas to see the very big game to one very lucky, very deserving coach. So if you know a youth coach that you think deserves recognition for their outstanding dedication and passion, make your nominations today. PrimoHoagies.com. You can go directly mvc.primohoagies.com. Our most valuable coach promotion here at Primos. I love it. We got to shine some love, give some love to these youth coaches that spend their time, many of whom just getting an earful and no compensation. So they're the best. Nominate your favorite coach. Again, it's the Primo Hoagies most valuable coach contest. I love it. I think it's great. And who knows, maybe they'll get to see the birds at the big game. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, I think that's one of the gifts of, where you guys have achieved. And, you guys are still, so young and you have still a lot more. I mean, Josh, your mom and your aunt talk about you all the time. Like, I get all kinds of updates about you. Tell us about your journey, Josh.
Yeah, well, I grew up with these two guys, played with my brother for like their whole careers, and his dad was coaching my brother. So, like, kind of seeing that they were able to do it kind of like showed me that, like, if I take this serious, that I could get to the same spots, and it's all kind of worked out the same way for me, which, I'm grateful too. It just takes a lot of hard work and dedication every day.
Well, that's the only thing. Did you give up a lot. We all see, as sports fans, and we all see the glamour that comes with big time hockey and big time basketball, baseball, the whole thing. But the hours that you guys put in, I mean, Andrew, think about you as a child, your whole entire childhood that you spent in a rink. I mean, the hours that other kids are playing video games and doing things, you gave it all up to get where you're at.
Oh yeah, countless amount of hours. I mean, we missed out on a lot of opportunities and stuff, like a lot of fun with our friends and stuff. But it's all for the better. It put us in a great spot where we are today, and I wouldn't regret it. So,
and that's the one thing about the sacrifice that I think young athletes need to really kind of understand. And look, at some point, you guys realize that, all right, like, I think I can do something here, and maybe I can get an education and get it paid for and really kind of set up my life. And I think, that's where Vin, you probably said, look, I love the game and it's an opportunity. So I want to go full bore and, really devote all my time to it.
exactly. I think, obviously, like you said, you miss out on a lot of things growing up. And then you also said about, maybe I can get an education and stuff out of this. For me, it was just, I really fell in love with the game like pretty early. I think probably earlier than a lot of kids, do playing hockey. And then I also went away pretty early. I went away after my freshman year of high school. So talking about missing out on things, I've never been to a dance. I've never been to a prom. I've never been to, all the after parties with my friends and stuff. That stuff is kind of just, I've never been a part of it. And, it becomes norm after a bit. And that's kind of the kind of stuff, just for me about like missing out on stuff where, I kind of do regret not going to a prom and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it's worth it, right? like I said, after you miss a couple things and you kind of get used to it, and it does suck the first couple of times, but when you have goals and you have you're seeing your future and stuff, I think that's something you definitely can put into perspective. And when you're missing those things, you kind of say to yourself like, hey, like, that's when you start talking to yourself and saying like, I can't go to these things. Like that's my life now. So that's kind of where I was at, as a young kid. And then, obviously playing junior and then getting to college, that's kind of like when your life kind of starts, your social life and stuff, and you have friends and you go out and stuff. And that's kind of like where it comes into full circle. And you're like, hey, when I was a kid, like all this stuff, like it was worth it, now that I made it to here. And now that, I have a bunch of friends now in college, and, I made a lot of friends in junior, like all that stuff as a kid, when I missed all that stuff, it's all worth it. So I think that's definitely something for like a young kid to, maybe going away to school or, playing hockey, and, you have a tournament and, your friends are having a sleepover or party. Like it's worth it, man. Like you just, you get through that stuff, and, it becomes norm after a while. So.
Andrew, how old were you when you first went away?
I was, I think going in my junior year, I went to Northwood Prep School up in Lake Placid. It was kind of the same thing. Like, I was missing out a ton, but, it was all worth it. I made a bunch of friends up there, and then, I had the opportunity to go to juniors as well. And yeah, so been living away since.
It was kind of cool because at one point you guys were both in Nebraska, right? One of you guys was in Omaha, the other guy was in Tri-Cities, right?
Yeah, I was in Omaha. He was in Tri-City. He was there a year before me, and then I kind of went up. I got called up in the end of my junior year, so I had a good opportunity there. And yeah, we played against each other. We took a nice picture. So it was kind of nice.
Well, it was cool. Like two kids from South Philly wind up playing against each other in Nebraska. I love that story.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great experience.
What was it like, Josh? Tell me about your travels, Josh. Like and at your young age, when you're playing this kind of competitive hockey, you're away from home. I mean, that's part of the whole thing. You're in Green Bay, and while other kids your age are doing their thing, you're playing hockey in Green Bay.
Yeah, well, like some of these guys, I went up to Rochester, New York, my sophomore year of high school. Like same thing. I know my mom's not very happy that I never went to a prom or any dances like that, but and now just out here, like same thing. Like you just meet so many like great friends and stuff that will be like some of my best friends for the rest of my life. That like if I didn't have this opportunity, like no matter what happens with hockey, like these are guys that I'll be talking to the rest of my life. That it's just a unique opportunity that like I would never pass up or regret at all.
I guess if you don't know it, Josh, like I guess this is just part of the process, right? I guess if you just look at it like, hey, this is what I do. I love hockey. I love this sport. And, wherever I can go to further my career, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, you don't really like second guess in it, especially when you're out here, you're surrounded by guys doing the same thing, and you don't even realize till you get back home and hanging out with, your other friends that kind of look at you like you're doing something crazy. But when you're around all these guys, it's kind of like just a normal for us and all we've ever known.
Ben, what was it like for you when you're living with a host city, a host family, I should say? And, I talked to mom and dad about this, and like they were worried sick, right? Like, so dad said I had to go out and check the people out. And then, I had to make sure, like one time you were sick and your mom was like freaking out. Because I can, tell you, I got two kids and I would be the same exact way as your mom and dad.
Exactly. So when I went away for the first time at school and stuff, I was in a dorm, obviously, and then they had all facilities there, like for doctors and stuff, and everything was kind of taken care of. When I played junior, I was a young kid. I was 16 years old, and dad's not very good with letting me go, and especially in the middle of the country. Like I think, it's probably the worst I've seen him. When he left. So like. I knew for sure my parents would come out with me right away, and they came out, and I got super lucky because obviously Kearney, Nebraska is probably not the best spot in the country, but it's a great spot to play hockey, and there's a lot of diehard fans and stuff. But to the Billow family and the host family, like I got super lucky. The Bernou family, they are the best people in the world. They had a great house. I would had the whole basement to myself, big room. They cooked every night. They're great people. They have a daughter, a couple dogs, and their family with me for the rest of my life. I talk to them, probably two times a week, like once every 2 weeks. So it's just like, we keep in touch all the time. And, I've known a lot of people that had bad experiences too with Bill families. So like, it's not an easy thing, obviously, when you're a kid and stuff. But for me, I'm super fortunate. I got super lucky to be stuck or have great people in my hands in Kearney, Nebraska, right? So as soon as we came to the house, mom and dad, we met her, Ashley, who's the mom there, and right away I just knew I was in great hands. She came in, great welcome, and then all of a sudden 2-3 weeks in, it's like my new home, right? So like that's something that people are worried about too when they're going away and playing juniors. Like, oh, I go to this house and I don't know what's going on, blah blah blah. But it's great. I mean, I'm blessed to have that experience and those people, and I was in their hands for 2 years and they were nothing but the best to me. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah.
You miss you. I know you probably missed your mother's pasta though.
100%. 100%.
Isn't that right, Andrew?
Oh, it's no
one thing you
joke.
miss from
It's
home.
no joke. Yeah, you don't know until you leave, and then you're like, oh, where's my mother's my mother's meals? So, yeah.
Where did you same thing?
Yeah.
How did it go for you? How was that whole process of living with strangers? I mean, you're entrusted, you're young, and it's not mom and dad who would do anything for you.
Yeah, right. I mean, I kind of did the same thing. I lived in a dorm at first, so it was kind of like a little bit different. I was living with a roommate, and then I got called up for juniors. I was kind of jumping around a little bit. Like they kept putting me in different billet houses, so I couldn't really get set and secure. So it was kind of a tough adjustment for me, but it kind of worked out for me at the end. I had a great billet family. They were awesome. They cooked great meals. Had 2 kids, 2 dogs. So they kind of made it really feel like home. And I kind of wouldn't change it for anything. I mean, they were awesome. I still keep in contact with them, always checking in on me. So, yeah, they were awesome to me and best people.
That's awesome. Josh, what's been your experience with that? And then also, seeing the world and meeting all these different people, which is a gift that you guys got. Like this gift, and you'll realize this when you get old like me, about what a gift that this whole thing is giving you.
Yeah, my billet's like same story as me. I'm like their first ever player, and I was definitely really scared coming up here last year. But I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I got the whole basement down here to myself. Just a mom and a dad, Leslie and Jeff, they have no kids, but just 2 dogs, and they treat me and my roommate like as their own. They cook dinner every night, and then just like coming out here, I've gotten to go to Lambeau Field, see some Packers games, and other cool experiences that I'd never be able to do if I didn't decide to do this, it's been great.
Yeah, I heard from Aunt Michelle that you've gotten close to some of the Packers coaching staff.
Yeah. My mom and Tony, they met one of the coaches on some trip in Florida, so got a plug for some tickets now, which I can't complain about.
I know you guys are still Eagle fans though, and Phillies fans, so I know that's for sure. When did you know, Vin? When did you kind of realize that this was something you love, like that? That you would really, this is for you.
Obviously, at a young age, I think like I said earlier, me and Andrew started on figure skates at 3 years old. So I feel like when you start so young with something, it's like anything else. But for me and him, I just think it just clicked for us. Like both of our dads like love hockey. We were just raised around it. So I just think, at 7 or 8 years old, I just, I fell in love with it. Same thing with Andrew. Like I had 7 hockey sticks down my basement with 3 nets, and every single night before bed in the basement, shooting pucks. And Andrew will tell you about the wars we had in my basement as such young kids. Bernie would have to come in the house and rip him out of the basement. But
I'm scared of Bernie. To this day, I'm still scared of Bernie.
Oh my God.
So I think at 7 or 8 years old, when we started playing travel and stuff, and our dads were the coaches, and that's just when you're kind of just having fun with it, right? And then all of a sudden you fall in love with it, and then that's just the whole process. After you fall in love with it, you're at 12, 13 years old, and then it starts to get serious, and then it becomes like your life, and then it's your job. So like I feel like it's kind of just like this ladder kind of process that was our life. And like I said, at such a young age, I think something just clicked for me and him, and it's been, and I don't regret it at all. I think it's been nothing but the best to both of us, and it still has a lot more to come. So
How about you, Josh?
Um,
What'd you
I
fall
can't
in love with?
don't know if I like have a moment. Just realize that you see some guys start to like not put in as much hours and stuff as like us. Like me and Andrew work out together. We're there 7 a.m. every morning. And we see Vinny at the skates too. We're skating there like the whole summers. We're workout skate, and you kind of just realize like that you're doing that. You're like, oh, I really care about this, and it's something that I'm dedicating my life to. So you kind of just realize at that point that you got the love for it.
Andrew, did you play other sports too?
Yeah, actually, me and Vinny played baseball. We played for the Reds, or I think it was the Reds. But yeah, we played some baseball.
Or
It was kind
DV?
of yeah, DV baseball. We played some CYO basketball too. That wasn't too fun, but yeah, I mean, we were always athletic. We always loved to play other sports. It was like we went to the same grade school too, so we used to play football outside and a bunch of other fun things. So yeah.
And did it come a point where you realized like I can't play any other sports? I got to give up baseball. I got to just kind of focus on hockey.
Yeah, I guess like I mean, as we grew older, like we kind of knew what we wanted to do. We've been playing like for the longest time since we can remember. But I think our love and our passion for the game just kept on growing, and it was something that stuck with us. Um, and yeah, I mean, like baseball and all that stuff was fun too. But I think our passion was really for hockey, and I think our parents were a big influence in that too. So yeah, it kind of just stuck with us, and that was going to be our main sport that we wanted to play. So.
How about you, Josh? Did you play other sports?
Not really. Like my team, we like put in a flag football team one year and just mess around and stuff like that. But my coach was really hardcore, so we didn't really have much free time to play any other sports. You kind of had to go all in on hockey.
It's especially hockey, which I think is different than the other major team sports because you're in tournaments all over the country, right? Canada, you're in all kinds of, travel is involved, ice time. I mean, it's almost impossible then to play multiple sports. Like in high school, you could probably play baseball and football for a short period of time, but you can't do that with hockey.
yeah, I think a freshman year of high school, I think that's when it kind of hit us where this is going to be serious. But as a kid growing up, me and Andrew were going to the rink with our dads 3 times a week, and then dad would get me a lesson 1 to 2 times a week on other days I didn't have practice. So, and then on the weekends you're on the road, and that starts really young. So I think just that I think that's another reason why like our love for the game is so like high today because of that. It's true, but it's been nothing but hockey our whole lives. I mean, we've played other sports and stuff for fun, but that love for hockey has always been there, and it's not going to go away. So and I think that's for the reason why, like you said, we practice 3 times a week, and games on the weekends, and it's hard to do other things when you're that busy. So I think that's just the way it's been forever, and that's why things are like today. So
Andrew, the travel piece of it. What's the first time you remember being in a car and going up to New England or Boston, wherever you went? How old were you? You remember?
It was probably a nice Boston trip with Vin, honestly. We had a bunch of car rides where we were in the back singing some Taylor Swift and some good memories from that. So yeah, I mean, it's been tournaments every weekend, like since we were, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. It started to get competitive as we got older. So yeah, it was probably like a couple Boston trips here and there, and then, but yeah, it was a lot of good memories from it though.
How about you, Josh? Do you remember those long drives to get to
Yeah, I
tournament?
definitely remember them. One of the best is like we rent out maybe like a big van and grab 4 or 5 guys and their parents and all take up a big trip together, which always help pass the time, like being with another family. But like 18 hours we do some crazy ones that really tested you.
Do you remember the some of the locations that you would go to?
The longest I remember was 18 hours in a packed car to Minnesota, I think, which
Wow.
was probably the worst that I could remember.
There's something about the car ride, Vin. I'm sure that is fun. Like, it can get old, but there's also a lot of joy with it. Stopping to get some burgers, something to eat, some burgers or whatever. Just hanging, with you and Andrew or you and Dad. I'm sure that like those memories are close to you.
Yeah, we have countless memories. I think, me and Andrew we were on the same team for, 8 years growing up. So, our dads loved it. Our dads loved to drive together every single road trip. They would, text each other, hey, we're going up here this weekend. Let's go, let's carpool. So, it was always us four in the car together. And then, our moms made appearances, occasionally, but we have a lot of memories in the car. I was when Andrew was just talking, I started like laughing a little bit. I think, my dad would always drive, and then Uncle Bern would be in the passenger seat, and then me and Andrew would start wrestling in the back. We would be on a ride to like Montreal or even the Praxis or up to Boston. We start fist fighting in the back, and then Uncle Bernie back in the day had big muscles. He'd turn around and scare us. So and then we'd wait 20 minutes and then we'd start again. So like those are all the memories I really have. I think like we were nonstop as young kids, and I don't regret. I mean, it's great memories. That's something that we'll always look back on and laugh about. In 20 years, we'll be sitting around at a dinner table with both of our families, and we'll bring this up and everybody will start laughing. So it's just something that'll definitely stick with us forever. I think those are some of the best memories.
Welcome to Primo. How can we help you today?
One old-fashioned meatball, and make it quick, because I got practice.
You got it. Coach?
Congratulations, Coach!
You've been nominated by your team to win 2 tickets to the big game!
Wait, nominated? So I didn't win?
Smile.
Not yet, Coach.
Most valuable
Not
coach.
yet.
Smile,
Not
coach.
yet.
Smile.
Come on, smile.
Smile for the cameras,
Smile.
coach.
You got to be kidding me.
Smile, coach.
Andrew, what's the role? You guys talked about dads, your fathers. What is it? What did he mean to you? Like, what did your dad mean to your journey?
I mean, my dad, like, he means the most to me. Like, he's been like with me through it all. Like, there's a countless many stories of like, I was out in Omaha and he literally like drove to Omaha from Philly just to watch me play for one game. And, the dedication he has and, the passion he wants to live his life through me. So it's just kind of, something that I really look up to. And, like I have another funny story of like when Vinny and his dad got on a plane to, I think it was to Toronto or something. And my dad, like, we went home back to our house in Philly and he was like, do you want to play? Like, do you want to go there and play? And I said, yeah, like, Dad, I really want to go play for this, in this tournament. So we packed the car that night and we drove 8, 9, 10 hours through like winter snow, like just bad weather, and like drove us right through to Toronto. We drove right on game time, got there, like rolled right in, and then, played the game. So yeah, he's been the best for me. He kind of lives his, he kind of likes to watch me play hockey. So like, I kind of like, I really take pride in it. So yeah, he's been the best for me though.
Josh, tell me about Mom, because I know Mom's been terrific. It's, she's so proud of you, so adored, and to have, someone like her in your corner, because the parent child, when it comes to sports, the bond's like this, man. Like I'm constantly, my two boys, I got 10 and 13, and I'm constantly with them on the sidelines, whenever they're playing, working with them. And so I know that mom meant a lot to your journey, Josh.
Yeah. I mean, just so grateful for all like they've sacrificed. Like hockey is definitely not a cheap sport. There's so much money and time they spend. And when my mom will make trips out here, come watch me, and it all just means so much to have. Even my whole family, like my grandma, I'll get a text after every game, every day, like screw the ref, this or just they're always on my side, watching and rooting for me. So it means a lot to know that I have all that support back home.
That's great. Vinny, I got to ask you about Vinny.
That's a loaded question because mom will get really mad at me if I get
Well,
that.
listen, mom will get mad at me too. So I was going to ask you about mom too, both your moms, by the way, Andrew. So, but I got to ask about my boy. So I know how much, I mean, we talk about you, like, the pride, like, and I know there's such a great bond that you guys have, and mom. So I'll never leave out the moms. You know what I mean?
No, dad has been there for me since day one. I give him all the credit when it comes to hockey. He's, spent countless hours in the car and spent countless, amount of money on lessons and, playing for teams and stuff. So, all that credit goes to him. And, as I got older, you start to realize at 15 years old when you go away and you're not living with mom and dad anymore, and you start to realize how much, your dads are really there for you. And, I went away and he was up at every single one of my games my first year I was away. So like you can tell that he really missed me, but at the same time, it's like he's starting to become like your biggest fan because like you're starting to take it serious and stuff. So like ever since then, he's been up almost every single game. When it comes to hockey, I definitely give him, a lot of the credit. But he's my biggest fan now. So like every single game I see him in the stands, he sits in the same seat up here in Boston. So it definitely means a lot to me too. As I'm getting older now, I start to do things like for him and stuff and start to think about him a lot more. So, yeah, but he means everything to me. So, it's something that, I definitely cherished, throughout my whole life, how much time and dedication he spent. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So, Andrew, I'm going to ask all you guys the same question. What's your typical day like? And what was your typical day from 10 years old to now? Right? Like, just about how much hockey did you play?
Yeah, I mean, back then I had a little bit more energy, but it was just kind of like more of like just school. I guess just going right to the rink, practicing, working out, and then going back to do homework. But I guess it kind of changed to now to where, like the junior life was kind of more of just like hockey all day. I took a gap year like with school. So literally woke up at 8:30, went to the rink, and I was there till 4 o'clock. So it was just kind of like a job to me. And now it's also transitioning into, the college life. So I got to go to class in the mornings and stuff, and then on the ice for 2 hours and then a lift too. So, but yeah, I mean, as I got older, it got harder. So I guess it's like a little bit more taxing on my body, but it's mentally preparing me. I'm really growing as an individual and as a man. So yeah.
What is it when you think about as a kid, right? Let's go youth hockey first. Is it all, 12 months a year? Is it, 4 days a week, 6 days a week, type of thing?
Yeah, I think it was more of like 4 days a week, like, back in the youth days, but not too hard of like practice and stuff. Obviously it was good times, a lot of fun with hometown friends and stuff. So yeah, like, but the transition to now, it's it's a lot longer. And
then once it became serious, right? Like once you
exactly
hit 13, 14 years old, now you're playing, you're lifting. Like at what age did you start lifting weights?
I want to say probably freshman year of high school. That's when it really started to get competitive, and you really started to see like a change in, like the strength and the size and the the compete level of other players. So you really take advantage of that. So it started for me then, and then, ever since it's been part of me. So.
Vin, how about you? When did you start lifting weights? When did you start realizing? And what was your training? What was that like at 13, 14, 15? And when it got really serious, what was the time? How time consuming was it?
I think I started probably in the 8th grade, like just kind of like the basic stuff. At just, a public gym like in Philly and stuff. So like that's when I really started. And then, freshman year of high school started to get a little more serious. I was, we were working out with our travel team probably once a week, and then, I'd probably do the other 4 days at another gym in Philly. So after that, I think, when you go away and you start playing for, a more serious team, and, you're at a school that's just for hockey, you have people that work, in that department with weightlifting, and, and that's when there starts to become science behind all the movements of the body, and, all that stuff. It's not just how much can you lift, or, you know what I mean? So, you eventually have a trainer, and like I said, there's a lot of science behind it and stuff. So that's when it gets really serious. And then there, it just takes off from there. Obviously, you go to junior and then college, and then, once you get to college, it's a whole different ball game. You have 10 to 12 people on staff, just for in that science department with like your body and weightlifting and stuff, and, your heart rate day to day, and, your body fat, and, your weight every single day, like how much, water you lose on the ice sheet and stuff. So like all that stuff starts to come into play. But I think, it all started probably in the 8th grade. And then, like I said, it's just another like kind of ladder process with the weightlifting. You know what I mean? Like, you're a young kid out there, you don't really need to be lifting weights at 10 years old. You don't need to be doing that. I just think, at that age, especially up to like the 8th grade and stuff, you have fun, right? And then, that weightlifting just, it comes naturally. So you're never going to play hockey at 15, 16 years old and not lift weights. Doesn't matter if you're playing travel or, on a AAA team, AA team. So, I think that's, kind of the whole background on that weightlifting kind of deal. Like I said, I don't really think kids need to start lifting weights super young, but that's when it started around for me. And then, as you go on and on, it gets a lot more serious. So.
How about you, Josh? And then was the biggest thing that you worked on, was it skating? Was it, at 13, 14, once you get real serious, speed, what is it that you were working on mostly?
Yeah, I'd say for me, just where I was at was skating. Weightlifting wise, probably started around 13, and then during COVID, it was hard to get ice. So me, my uncle, and my brother, whenever we could force them to come in the basement, we would just lift down there, which was probably like the start of me really putting on some muscle. And then just honestly, for me, it might have got my when I was younger, my coach was really hard on us. It was just hard work, out compete. So on ice might have gotten easier for me as I've gotten older, because, they kind of more science behind it. Like we wear the heart rate monitors, like depending on, okay, their bodies can't really work too hard today. But yeah, out here we're on the ice twice a day, working out Monday through Wednesday. So as you get older, you see everything become like the science, as Vinny said, and a lot more serious, where as you're younger, it's kind of just, you're just going with the flow and seeing what happens.
Then when you look at the idea of trainers, specialized trainers, did you have specialized coaches and trainers growing up? Do you believe in that sort of thing?
So that would bring me to Voorhees at such a young age. And the first guy I worked with for skills, and obviously as a defender, Jeremy Hall, he's been around forever. He's one of the first people to, teach me the way of a defender and how to do things. So I definitely give a lot of credit to him. He's an awesome guy. He started this path for me 100%. And then, I stuck with him, for those years. And then, obviously as a defender, you want to work with specialized guys that know about defense, right? So, we had a coach U14 year and U13 year, John Gevard, who's was a defender and was a really good hockey player. He really helped me and Andrew out a lot. And then Vince Williams, another guy who me and Andrew both go to, works at the Igloo. He's in the Vegas organization, who's a really good guy. Um, really knows what he's talking about with the defense and stuff like that. And then, when I went away for school the first time out at South Kent, there was a skills coach there every single morning. He'd be down at the rink, and he was just specialized and just hockey skill. Like, right, it was both offense and defense, and that's how it really all started. So I've really had like those guys there for me my whole career, with helping me get that extra inch and learning and thinking through the game, especially in the D zone. So yeah.
Andrew, I guess you kind of feel the same way, Vinny, right? Like when it comes to the trainers and when it comes to helping you at different stages of your development.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously went to some of the same trainers, and they've been super helpful for us. I think they kind of gave us that extra edge. Obviously you see the game change and it's more of like a skating. So I think like trying to trying to like improve on your skating was a big part of me. So I kind of went to this guy Lloyd Eisler for a bit, using no pucks, just working on my edges and stuff, just to trying to give me that extra edge. But yeah, I mean, trainers have been super helpful. I think they're a big part of the hockey world, and something that most players should look into.
Josh, what about you? What is there some trainers, some coaches, specialty coaches along the way that really made a difference and really helped you?
Yeah. I used the same skating coach as Andrew, who really, like, that was kind of the main focus for me when I was kind of like 15 through 16. And then, I got skills coach. I got we got trainers for the gym. And then when I went away to school, it was kind of really nice to have, you had the gym guy, you had a D coach, a forward coach, you had skills. So you had kind of different guys for different things, which really helps you to advance every part of your game.
That's awesome. So, Andrew, I'll ask you this. I'm going to ask all you guys this. Give me the moment that you said, "Oh, I'm not getting up, man. I don't want to go to practice. I don't want to go to the game. I don't want to go to the game. I don't want to go on a long car ride." Was there any moments like that that kind of stood out to you that you had to force yourself to do it? Oh, we lost him.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost him. He said we were going to lose him. So then you heard that question. I'm going to ask you of that moment.
So it started really, really young for me. That like kind of analysis is always going to be there. You're always going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do this. But for me, it started probably about 4 years old. They'd have these clinics at Voorhees, and Dad would take me, and I'd wake up around 5:30, 5:45, which I think the skate started at 6:30. As such a young kid, like that's a really early ice slot. So mom would wake me up, and then she would put me on the couch. I'd still be asleep. Dad would carry me out, put me in the car seat, and we'd go. That's probably my first thing, like memory I really remember. And then as I get older, prep school, I was up at 6:45 probably every single morning. That moment you wake up, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, and you're on your phone for a minute or two, and then you eventually get out of bed. The thing I always tell myself, even in college, when I'm heading down to the rink early in the morning for skills, and even in junior, waking up, because every level of hockey you play, you'll have extra ice time, and it's something that I always took a lot of pride in, is definitely getting myself to go to those things. And they're usually in the morning. So I'd wake up, and the thing I always tell myself is like, hey, like this weekend you can feel that much better, or today you get 1% better than other people that aren't showing up to this skate, right? And all that stuff adds up. So especially for me right now, like in college, waking up and stuff, like I think I wake up and, the first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I don't want to really do this. But then I'm like, hey, we have a big game this weekend, like at home. And, I want to feel comfortable out there. I want to work on my skills, like stuff I'm going to use during the game and, kind of mimic that stuff in the morning. And then, obviously you'll practice later on. But that's kind of like my outlook on things right now. It's just they've always been that way when it comes to, extra work or extra ice time and, early stuff to do. And I think, definitely getting stuff out of the way in the morning, especially with hockey. And, that's anything in life. Like you go to the gym or like you work and stuff. So I think, you get it out of the way early in the morning and, you'll do, that's the thing, that I look for is like you get it out early in the morning, you're going to do greater things later in the day. So like, that's something that I always say to myself. So
That's awesome. I love that. Andrew, we lost you.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
No, not at all. So that question of you went, oh, I got to get up right now. I have to go to practice. I have to go to a game. I have to go sit in the car for 20 hours.
Yeah. I think during my more of my high school career, it wasn't too bad because it was usually practices after class and stuff. So I think until I got to my prep school is when I had some bad winter mornings of 6:30. It was already snowing outside, head into the rink just for, a long practice, a long workout. And then, but same thing as Vinny said, I think, getting the stuff done in the morning just makes your body feel so much better and makes your mind just, in the right spot. So even see it here in college. There's some times where we have to get up at 6:30 and roll into the rink at 7 and, get an hour lift before class. So it's just something like you just dread doing, don't feel like doing like at that moment. But the feeling after when you're done it, it's a lot better than when, before. So, yeah.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Josh, were there moments that you felt that? Oh, man, not today. And you pushed yourself through.
Yeah. Probably when about 7 or 8 where, my team would have a bad weekend and you're sitting through school all day knowing that you're going to get to practice and we're not going to, no pucks. We're just going to be skating until we're throwing up and can't skate anymore. So, and then just as growing up, like when I went away to school, we'd have once a week, you're getting up at 4:30 in the morning just to go practice. But for me, it's the same thing. You get it done and you feel good about yourself. And then I think our bodies and minds are just kind of trained to be like, you just kind of do it. You don't even think about it. We've been doing it for so long where you just push through it. And then after it, you're happy that you put in the extra work and, you feel good about yourself.
That's beautiful. All right, boys, game food. All right. What do you eat during game day leading up to it and then afterwards? Vin?
So last year was a little bit different because we didn't have a kitchen at school. So we'd have to our team would provide a pregame meal, but the breakfast and the night before you're on your own. So that's really kind of where the dining hall came in. It's not the best food in the world, but this year we're lucky enough to have a kitchen. So we do steaks on a Thursday night leading up to a Friday game, sweet potato, broccoli, cauliflower. That's kind of our go-to. And then on game day, the team provides us, we have, rice, corn, asparagus, chicken and like steak tips, kind of like brisket and pork and stuff, all kind of meats and stuff there. And then after the game, it's usually my favorite post-game meal is probably a Chipotle bowl. I think it's definitely I feel like that's definitely up there on my list. Maybe Chick-fil-A after a big time win. But I try to stay on the healthier side, all the way through with that process. I think, something that people, don't really take into perspective is how healthy you eat during the week and stuff. So like, that's something that, we're really trying to focus on this year, like me and my roommates and stuff. And I think we're doing a pretty good job, but leading up to the game and stuff, I think, definitely healthier foods is definitely better for the body and stuff. So
funny, after my kids' football games, if he does well, he gets Chick-fil-A. So he'll get his 30 count nuggets with a milkshake and fries. And so that's his go-to.
That's me too. And after a big time win too, like maybe ice cream post game, maybe on a special occasion. But
I love it. Andrew, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I think, fueling the body is the most important thing. To feel good leading up to the game. I think if you're eating bad foods and stuff like that, it's just sets you back, and it doesn't like put your mind in a good spot. But I guess on game days, I kind of wake up, have my eggs, have my fruit, have my potatoes, everything I really need. And then leading up to the game, I'll probably take my nap and stuff. But pregame meal would probably just be pasta and chicken. I really like carb load, so it gives me a lot of energy. So, yeah, it's usually just pasta for me, and then post game, like Vinny said, once in a while maybe a Chick-fil-A sandwich or something. But yeah, Chipotle bowl would be good too.
Josh, what's your go-to, brother?
It kind of varies depending on when we're traveling. It's all like provided by the team. Normally pasta, chicken, rice. Chipotle before and after the game, which we love. Home games, we hit the same breakfast spot every home game. Get an omelet, some hash browns, and then my billet will usually make me some type of fish, rice, or spaghetti. And then after a big win, we love to go IHOP, Applebee's, whatever you can find that's open, and as a team, and just kind of reward yourself a little bit.
That's awesome. You get to get pig out. You
Yeah.
get the grub. That's great. Give me a little snapshot of then your playlist. How do you get hyped for a game? How do you visualize music, your playlist? What is it?
So for me, I'm definitely more on the focus side of a hockey player. I think, your player kind of varies between, social butterfly before a game, and then you have a guy that's like kind of locked in. I think I'm more on like the locked in side. The night before games and stuff, I'm doing like mental training, and I'm journaling, and all that stuff. So after that, in the mornings and stuff, I really don't open my mouth much on game day, to be honest. I go to the rink and have my headphones in, kind of get my breathing stuff in, and ride the bike and stuff. And then before the games and stuff, I'm a big Meek Mill guy. I like honestly, like Zach Bryan's new album kills it. Honestly, that music kind of gets me hype. I like EDM a lot. Like I listen to house music and stuff like before games. But like I said, I have my beats on stuff, and I have that music blast in my ears, and then it's just kind of like go time for me. I think like once I hit the rink and stuff, this switch flips for me, and it's just like kind of, I get into a mode where like I just, I'm in like the war zone. So like that's kind of like for me, but like the music, honestly, like I'm not really a big time music guy. I do like rap. I do like Meek Mill. I like Lil TJ. I like 21 Savage, but I don't like rave over their music. I like to listen to it and stuff, but yeah, I'm not a huge music guy.
That's awesome. That is great. So take us through yours, Josh. What do you do before the game, the day of, listening? Are you like Vinny? Are you music with your playlist?
I'm kind of like driving to the rink. I'm a lot of rap, kind of try to fire myself up, and then when I get like doing warm-ups and stuff as a team, we'll have one guy connect and we'll carry the speaker around. I'm kind of, I keep the AirPods out, kind of like vibe, and like, you dance with the team and everyone's kind of singing the songs. And then once you get in the locker room, I throw the AirPods back in. And for me, it's normally just kind of like a mix or just rap songs. Usually try to fire myself up and, get myself going before the game.
Andrew, what do you do? What's your routine?
Yeah, I mean, I think leading up to the game, I'll listen to some music, maybe some calm music too, just to settle my mind down. But on the bus ride over to the rink, I usually put on the headphones, listen to some rap, like just same thing as Vinny, like some EDM stuff and some house music. But I think once I get to the rink, I kind of take my AirPods out, and I want to be inclined with everybody in connection, because it's the team I'm going to war with. So I think if I have these headphones in and just like listen to my music by myself, it just puts me out of things, and I kind of like to take in all the emotions and see what's around me. Helps me perform better and, get my mental right before the game. So, I think the music part of it isn't a big thing about, for me at least. And, I think just being inclined with my mental is more important for me, and just mentally preparing myself for the game. So,
Vin, do you believe in that visualization? Do you believe in
I
that
do.
sort of thing?
I actually work with a guy who, if I was fortunate enough to work with, who works with a lot of pros and stuff, and he's that's his job. Like, he's mastered everything about that stuff. So, he's helped me a lot through. It's definitely a long process. I've started it probably 2 years ago, but it's definitely something that it takes a long time to master it. Obviously, I'm not even close, but I've played with a lot of guys last year who's are big time players and stuff that also really take pride in it. Devin Levi plays for the Sabres now, goalie. So he was a guy that would see through his whole entire day, and would see it through so clear. Like, he was kind of like walking in third person the next day. I've never seen anything like it. But that's something that I do take a lot of pride in the night before games and stuff. I think it helps a lot. I think it, like Andrew said, he tried to calm his mind. I think it calms my mind. I think it's a part of that preparation process where when you get to the rink on game day, it leaves no doubt, like, with your confidence and how you're going to play and stuff. So, like, I think it's definitely useful. But like I said, it's definitely something that it takes a long time to definitely get used to. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So,
all right, last one, guys. I know the ball game's about to start, and I know you guys want to root the Phillies on. Josh, I'm going to start with you. I want you to give young hockey players, could be yourself, but give young hockey players ages when you were 13 or 12, throughout the States. What's your best advice for youth hockey players?
I think I would just say, like, enjoy it. Being on here and thinking back to those memories, that's probably some of the most fun that you have playing hockey. You're with, I was with the same group of guys, just you're in the hotels, playing knee hockey, running around, causing trouble. So, as you get older, you kind of becomes a lot more serious. So I would just say, enjoy the fun part of it now, where you kind of isn't your job and you're just out there having fun. And, don't, obviously when you get older and go to juniors in college, it's all cool too, but don't overlook the fun when you're younger, being with your buddies every day.
Andrew, what's your best advice for youth hockey players?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of would say the same thing. If I were to tell myself, my younger self, I would just say, enjoy the game, like, live in the present moment. Don't really focus on what's next, focus on what's now. I think that's very important. And, I think when players tend to, like, look at the outcome too much, they get too, out of focus of what's right in front of them. So I think staying in the moment, enjoying those moments with your friends, creating bonds that will last a long time. Memories of same thing. Me and Vinny been through a lot, and we cherish those moments, and there's nothing like I would do to give those up. And it's something that should be engraved with you. But yeah, I think in just staying in the present, staying in the moment. And then, everything else will fall in place. Not trying to force things, not trying to, jump at anything. So yeah, that's it. That's what I would tell.
Do you stress over your ambition? Like, your ambition to keep, rising and being a top, one of the top prospects, all that stuff. Did you stress over that at all?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some stress to that too. I think it's, a goal for everybody. You want to be the best. You want to be, one of the top players in the country. But it's more of just about, focusing on yourself. I think when you try and compare yourself to other people and stuff like that, like, other people have different games, other people have different ways of going about, the game. So I think, for me, at least, it's been, just focus on myself, focus on what I need to do, what I need to get done, and, whatever I need to do to improve to become the best player that I can be. So.
What a great answer. What a great answer, Vin. So all these youth kids, they're looking up to you, man, right? Like all these kids in this area, what would you tell them?
I'd say the first thing is definitely have fun with everything. Like these guys said, the memories you make, the friends you make, the car rides, everything we just talked about, that's something that, we'll never forget. So the first thing is have fun. I think the second thing I'd probably say is, work if you're gonna play, work at it, right? I always tell people, even if you're young, right? Like Andrew said, what he would say to his younger self. Obviously, we see the journey now because we're old enough and we can tell, what's going on and stuff. But as a young kid, you have your journey, right? And if you don't work at something, it's never gonna work. So like I think, one thing is you have to work at something if you want it, right? And I think me and Andrew definitely wanted that at such a young age. So one, work at it, and then the second thing my uncle would always tell me is have heart out there, right? Every kid, I think,
Uncle Ace.
my uncle A's have heart out there. I think like, the word compete is definitely a big word as a young kid, but I think, heart and compete is, my two main like character or, things that I look up to as a player. Like for me now, and I've always been there is, hustle and, all those things. But, the last thing I'd probably say is like the extra work here and there. If you have a chance to get extra ice time, go to stick and puck and, stick handle in the basement or, I say, have an hour set every day to do something that you can get better every single day. Cause that you get 1% better, 0.5% better every single day. That stuff adds up. Right. So, be consistent with your work. You know, do stuff every single day, right? Like I said, if you're going to work at something, you need to be consistent with it, right? And then consistency leads to great things happening for yourself, right? But this stuff doesn't really happen until later. So, like, the main thing is have fun. All those young guys out there that are playing right now is, enjoy every second of it, play, hockey with your buddies and every single day. I think that's definitely something, that you'll remember for a long time. So,
I got to tell you, I am so proud of you guys, coming from, their Philadelphia area, and you guys are incredible, just young men, terrific athletes. You got to promise me that we can do this in 3 months and we can check in with you guys. I'm so impressed by you guys, and you're great leaders and you're great role models. I'm just real proud of you, man. You guys, please, I wish you lots of luck this season and just stay the way you are, man. You guys are treasures. Real proud of you guys.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Go Phillies, and I'll see you in 3 months.
Go Phil.
Go Phils.
Hey guys, here at Yo Kid Sports, for Brendan Petrilli and myself, Anthony Gargano, I just want to thank you for hanging on our channel. We love it. All right. We love doing this content. Just do us a solid and hit the subscribe button, because the more people that we can reach, that we can amplify this thing, the better guests, the more content that we can produce. So do us a solid, hit the subscribe, tell your friends, your families, your coaches, get everybody subscribed, because chances are here at Yo Kid Sports, we're going to be talking about your kid or your coach. It's a lot of fun. Hang with us.